Dire team banned.
Hello folks, and welcome back to the Netolic Raid Call Pro League Winners Bracket Round 1. We saw Orange versus MUFC yesterday. It was absolutely an excellent series. I won't spoil the result if y'all want to check out the VODs. But here we have today Vici Gaming versus April Fool's Day and or Despicable Me 2. They actually pretty much changed their name for every game. But some very, very experienced players on this team. Both teams actually going 3-0 in their group stage. April Fool's Day AFD with their extremely freewheeling style, really just going crazy with some mid-heroes, the Queen of Pain, Storm Spirit, sometimes even pulling out the rarely seen IO Chaos Knight combo, rarely seen outside of the West, that is. Meanwhile, Vici Gaming just powering through excellent carry play from ZSMJ, CTY adapting to his new mid-roll, and some very, very rock-solid support coming from Fi and Fenrir. And even so, both these teams had some scares. Vici Gaming almost getting taken out by TNC in their third game, and AFD having some close shaves as well. But Singapore versus China, two incredibly strong teams. Winner of this best-of-3 series will advance. Loser will go to the loser's bracket. I'm Vickerman, my co-caster El Presidente is here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing quite well, and this should be very, very good, I hope. I haven't actually got to see any games from April Fool's Day, so I'm not too familiar with their playstyle as a whole.
Right. Well, they use a big plays generating from mid to create opportunities. It's rare that they actually go for super late game hard carry. They just want to take it out in the early to mid game and then follow up on that. So that's why they value these playmaker mid heroes so highly. You see they pick the Queen of Pain second. This is higher than almost any other team would actually take this hero, because they want to make sure that Chibi X33 will actually be able to generate those plays from the mid. And what do you think about VG's lineup here? Early Dragon Knight.
Well, if April Fool's Day looks to end early, Vici are looking to drag the game late. And to open that off, they have Dragon Knight and Keep It Light. Very strong turtling heroes thanks to the spammability of some of their spells. But on top of that, this is a very strong pushing lineup as well. Lone Druid and Dragon Knight are absolutely fantastic at raising towers with level 1 Dragon Form on Dragon Knight. That is pretty impressive tower pushing ability, actually. So it tends to be underestimated, but that's a lot of damage that he puts on the towers.
Definitely.
Even if you can't kill it with the poison, it's still, damage that it does over long periods of time.
Now, will they be running that DK mid?
I think with the Keeper, that they're going to run it the Keeper, max out the Dragon Breath, skip the bottle, and, I don't know, maybe Pinoy Dota? Maybe I'm pretty sure ZSMJ is going to be playing this DK.
Okay.
But maybe Pinoy DK, maybe not. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, they could have a side lane Dragon Knight still. They could have a mid Dragon Knight. It's going to be tough to say. I agree that, well, actually, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what they actually come out with in the second phase. Vici Gaming still have the option of picking another support and then Juggernaut, which would be an incredible pushing combo. I mean, it still hasn't been banned out by AFD, so if the Juggernaut isn't taken out, could you see Keeper the Light Juggernaut plus support and then Lone Druid offlane DK mid?
Absolutely, and I would think they would want to round it off with Bane, but Bane is about as unpopular in China as Shadow Demon's unpopular in South America.
Yeah.
Which is to say, it doesn't even register on most people's radars when they're drafting.
I mean, no, we've seen some teams deploy it, honestly. It's not totally unheard of. But here we go with the Weaver. So actually, we will not be seeing that Juggernaut. We do see Weaver, and I think this does relegate the Dragon Knight more likely to a mid lane role. Meanwhile, the CK coming out, could we see a 5th pick IO? I mean, here's the thing in the Asian scene. If you want IO, you can have it. It's so rare that it gets banned out.
Yeah, but the big reason why the IO tends to get through these banning phases is because he is pretty under it. It's pretty underwhelming on the Chinese scene because the Chinese scene does tend to favor early five-man pushing, and when that kind of play starts happening, Wisp's effectiveness drops off dramatically.
10 seconds
Because his
remaining.
specialty is taking a buddy of his to go gank one guy who's off by himself
5
farming,
seconds remaining.
kill him, and then go back without any consequences. Can't really pick someone off
Reset
when
time.
you're, grouped up as five. And I know some of these Chinese characters, but that's like literally it.
ChibX33 is the guy with the cat avatar. So he has been around for a pretty long time, honestly. He's been playing professionally, at least as a stand-in or on various teams, I think since for at least 2 or 3 years. He's been on MYM. He stood in for Zenith several times, including this year. He's just a fixture in the Singaporean Asian scene in general. And then Ken, he actually was on MUFC for a pretty long time. I think a period of months. During some of their greatest successes as well. He's not on the new MYM roster, but definitely some players with high amounts of experience here. And then the other Chinese characters guy, I am not sure what his regular name is just because he aliases so much and he's a relatively new player, but I'm going to call him Shaolin Kid for the purposes of argument. Now, I'm really interested by this game, though, Alpres, because a lot of people around the internet have been sort of asking, is this Chinese predilection for not drafting IO, like, what's the actual evidence that it's correct? Obviously, we know the theory. It's that, they go, ooh, silencer. I like this as a potential response to that, to what could be an impending IO pick, because global silence can really mess up that transition. And just,
Yeah.
I think that AFD are going to have to think about what they want to pick here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one, surprise silencer picks, always fun. Two, maybe we could see Keeper of the Light Silencer Weaver. Maybe it's a solo mid Weaver. I doubt it, just because Weaver doesn't like landing against Queen of Pain.
10 seconds. 10 seconds remaining.
It's a little bit difficult for Weaver because he's very easily
5
harassed because he
seconds
has
remaining.
awful attack range at 375, I believe.
Right.
So it's not fun for him to deal with Queen of Pain's 550 and Dagger harass. Although the Dagger can be avoided with Shikuchi. So
Yeah, you can duck it. Sort of the way that those old Queen of Pain versus Templar Assassin mid-lane slugfests played out with the meld. If we do see Queen of Pain on the sideline and Weaver on the sideline, then I think it would be very possible that he would be trying to duck out of those daggers. But he would still cop a lot of harass. I mean, you're totally right that Queen of Pain's effective range is much, much greater.
yeah, I don't know.
They do.
Yeah, it is the Wisp.
So they think about it for a good long while, and they pick the IO. So I'm very excited now, not just by the fact that these are two excellent teams, but by the fact that this is an actual, honest-to-God test run of IO against a Chinese team. Not against IG, of course, but we will see how it goes, because, of course, IO has just become more and more and more ubiquitous. Ooh, I had the wrong scene active. There we go. All right. IO has become more and more ubiquitous over
Prepare
time,
for battle.
and in the sort of North American European scene, and even has started making inroads on Southeast Asia, which is part of the reason why it's in AFD's repertoire here. But Chinese teams do not like IO, and there have been interviews. I think there's an interview in which somebody asked Chuan or somebody why they don't take IO, and he just laughed. Like, he didn't actually respond, he just laughed. So, let's see how it goes here. Two good teams. I don't honestly know which one I would favor here, and why don't you go ahead and introduce VG?
Alright, on VG, we got XCT playing the Weaver with Fi and Fenrir supporting him up on this top lane. In the solo mid position, we have CTY playing the Dragon Knight, and in the off lane is ZSMJ playing the hard carry lone Druid
30
solo.
seconds.
Cool. For April Fool's Day, or Despicable Me 2, or whatever they're calling themselves this week, the tri-lane will be composed of Ken, Shaolin Kid, KS, on the Chaos Knight, Shadow Demon, IO respectively. Up in the mid lane, we do have ChibX33 on the Queen of Pain. And finally, their solo lane will be Wraveflu on this Bounty Hunter. So this Bounty Hunter shouldn't have too bad of a time here. Bounty Hunter versus Lone Druid 1v1. After level 5, the Bounty Hunter's in very, very deep trouble, but he can level until then without too much of an issue.
Yeah, honestly, he should be fine this lane. It shouldn't be difficult for Bounty Hunter to really take care of himself here. He's doing some creep pulling, I guess, because he wants to try to do this a little bit safer and probably farm the jungle at the same time to to speed up his levels, and I actually really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be really worthwhile in the end. And he's not even going to pull us to the creep camps because he's blocking some of them. And actually really funny because ZSMJ is using this bear to pull the lane creeps into this jungle, so now both teams are killing lane creeps.
It's just a non-traditional lane location. It's still the lane. The lane has just moved. I like this a lot, actually. I really like this alternative laning that they've structured here. So we do have a 3v3 in the top, after all. And who do you favor between this Silencer, Keeper of the Light Weaver versus Chaos Knight IO Shadow Demon?
Honestly, it's hard to say. I personally give the edge to Chaos Knight Wisp because that is a lot of guaranteed disables that they can land on somebody, where VG have 0 hard stuns.
That's true.
So,
they have no hard stuns in this lane. They just have a lot of magic damage that can get thrown out. The other thing, of course, is that Fi has gone for the level 1 Curse of the Silence, so while this will drain a little mana, until he hits about level 3 or 4, he really won't be doing much damage in this lane at all. So I worry, actually, but AFD haven't managed the lane all that well just yet, so it's close enough to VG that I think they're doing okay so far. But I agree with you. I mean, I'm concerned that if people get stunned out, they could find themselves in a bit of trouble here, but they're going to get counter-warded, I think.
yeah, it's not going to take very long. And now now April Fools Day know that there's a sentry around here for rewarding, and this is a really aggressive lane ward too. So
it is. That knowledge is helpful, but the thing is, they actually still have 1 sentry ward held on Shaolin Kid, so he's gonna have to guess very, very effectively to figure out where that works. Here we go. They try it. They pull out this stun. There we go. 2 seconds. And Fenrir, it looks like he's going to fall. Yes, it's a first blood for AFD. They take quite a bit of damage, but that seemed quite easy.
Yeah, the only problem is that Cuddle is a very, very, very squishy hero. So is XCT on the Weaver, and so is Fi on the Silencer. Yeah. These are all very easy to kill heroes, especially in this early game stage, because generally speaking, they don't really have the most phenomenal strength growths. And on top of that, none of them are really building for survivability at this point in the game. Well, maybe Weaver is, because that's what Weaver generally does, but it becomes really difficult for them to really maintain superiority. I wonder... CDY is not doing awful in mid either.
He's doing
sitting
quite well. 10 last hits to 15, and you're a melee that's going to cop quite a bit of harassment against Queen of Pain. He only has 1 rank in Dragon Blood too, not even the 2 ranks. So I like it a lot. CTY, honestly, I feel like has blossomed in mid quite a bit. The only thing I don't like about this choice for CTY, you can see Reality Rifted Shadow Poison to shuck the Curse of the Silent, but it's only level 1, so it's almost not even worth it.
Actually, if it's level 1, you lose mana spending the Shadow Poison.
Right, right.
2 mana. So it really comes down to, is the 2 mana worth 120 health? Some people will say yes, if they didn't bring it out for regen. Some people will say no, because, you know, generally speaking, it'll regen faster. But
right.
In Shadow Demon's case, he should just use the Shadow Poison.
Right. So, what I was going to say about CTY's hero choice is, I mean, I don't actually know what VG have been practicing in Infernal Scrims, but it just reminds me a little bit of when Navi would run Dendi on Dragon Knight in mid in TI2. It's not that Dragon Knight is a bad hero, or even that he's a bad mid hero, but to put the most aggressive player on your team, the person with the most propensity to sort of like get out and earn those kills, on a hero who's more of an early game pusher and then a mid to late game carry, actually, XCT might get caught out here. Here's the 2-second stun. They're going to continue hitting him. Will they bring him down? No, actually. Weaver's still alive, and they flip it. Actually, Ken in a bit of trouble here. If he cops any more damage, they're going to be in trouble. Unfortunately, they didn't bring XCT down there. Ken turns it around. 3-second stun on Fenrir, but he cops another Illuminate hit. Shaolin Kid was on the ground. He's back in now, but not enough to bring VG down, so they actually trade for the 1-to-1. Good magic stick usage by XCT there to keep himself alive.
One big thing to consider, and XCT.
Ooh, here's the spirits again. Wow, the spirits deal no joke damage coming out from KS there. Even though AFD have basically not been able to leave this lane or really manage it or stack pulls and such, they are doing a good job of at least pressuring VG. But that said, ooh, actually, ChibiX incoming to the bottom. ZSMJ, he is flipping forms, but he'll get taken down. And that's the first kill for the Queen of Pain, and an important one. ZSMJ was unquestionably winning that bottom lane. He was level 6, and this gives Raveplu some critical free time to actually hit his track, which we will hit in one more kill. There we go. That's track on Bounty Hunter, and AFD, they might feel pretty good about this now, just with the fact that a lot of avenues are opened up to them with the Bounty Hunter hitting level 6.
Absolutely. With that level 6, track kills are a huge deal. And up on this top lane, every kill was not only more gold for your team, but also more int for your Silencer. So, actually, Silencer did manage to have the glaives up for that Shadow Demon kill on Shaolin Kid, so that's actually quite a bit.
That begins
every little bit.
ascendancy. I mean, even as a hard support, Silencer can earn that high intelligence gain and actually become a threat just at auto-attacking later.
One of the big problems for heroes like Shadow Demon, though, is that not only is your mana pool shrinking, so is your right-click damage, and that's a huge problem as you get to the later game.
Sure.
So, gotta be careful about that. KSS giving...
Ken is actually now behind a level relative to XTT, so... AFD, I really think that they're suffering a little bit in this try versus try situation. So they managed to score the first blood, but since then, I mean, they went for another kill, and it cost them really dearly. They had to send Ken back because they ran out of regen items for him.
Yeah, and that's definitely not something you want to do. They have been bottle crowing on KSS to let him... Oh.
No, XCT just getting stunned out, but nothing more serious than that. This Weaver is at this point doing... He's fairly okay, I think. Do you think that this is Tranquil Boots with this Ring of Regen?
On the Weaver, most likely, especially because he also has the Ring of Protection.
Yeah. When he had done that, I didn't know yet. Alright. Oh, we could see a kill attempt on CTY here. Raveplu throwing out the Janata. He does have his Invisrune, though. There's the track. They get it in time. They're going to have to jump on him under the tower, but I think they can get this kill. Stun coming out from CTY, but no. The kill on ChibiX33, and he is starting to make those plays. Meanwhile, in top, XCT gets 3 seconds shut down. They do kill him, and another kill on the board. That puts AFD in very good shape indeed. Disruption to save Ken from the last word. Nice disruption timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're like pulled out of the map, I guess you're invulnerable to last word.
You don't take the damage if you're actively in disruption.
Yeah.
However, if Shadow Demon is affected by last word, the last word damage will hit him before he disrupts himself.
Yeah, that's because last word does the damage before the spell is cast.
Right.
It's so like even for Omni Knight, if it were to repel himself, it doesn't even matter.
So the VG find the trade, even though they got two heroes picked off. They don't want to just completely give away everything. So, ZSMJ, he manages to earn himself the first tower of the game. That's the first tower down for AFD in the bottom. And ZSMJ holding about 1330 gold. I wonder if this is going to be Midas?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. It's Phase Boots.
Oh, is it Phase Boots?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. Meanwhile, a lot of pressure coming out mid. Actually, ChibiX, he might go down to the Curse of the Silent. Yes, he does. And that's actually 2 more in for 5. 5, we've seen him just play fantastic games with his supports. He's honestly one of the most impressive players on VG right now to me. He played some absolutely amazing, was it Bane? Oh yeah, his Rubik is incredible. I've seen him play fantastic Rubik. I think his Bane was also really good the other day. Just an excellent player overall.
Absolutely, and the important thing about this good rotation coming out from Vine Fenrir is that every kill, 2 more int, and every time they get 2 more int,
they actually don't have detection for Raveplu though. It might just be a push here. Now CTY's ultimate has run out, but ZSMJ pushes quite strong already. He is level 8, that critical Lone Druid level. He's got the Battle Cry, he's got the 4 ranks in Bear, 3 ranks in Synergy, and he's just going to push this tower very, very hard. This is a ton of pressure on AFD's second tower, bottom tower. I don't know how much they can do about this. You see Chibi coming up. He's just harassing a little bit. Raveplu walking through here, but there's 4 players down here. I mean, it's going to take a lot more than this to defend this tower. And it looks like they're opting not to. It looks like VG is just going to take the tier 2 right here.
Yeah, the only problem is, especially for April Fool's Day right now, is just that for every tower they go down, and most of these towers are being killed by CTY, actually, so that's a lot of gold going the way to the carries of VG. They're still not behind by so many kills that this is actually a big problem for them, that they're just pushing out all of the lanes super hard. Because generally when you push out the lanes, it becomes harder to farm because you have less safe area. Oh, no, he runs very quickly.
CTY's creep kills are actually exceeding Chibi's right now. Slightly, but still. He's the most farm person on the map as far as grid kills go. And with that last tower kill, yeah, he's also the highest gold per minute. Clocking in around 417. This Dragon Knight is going to get fairly scary sooner or later. I like this casual cloak, by the way. This is absolutely excellent to defend himself from magic.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that, but he also picks up the very nice Ogre Club, and he's going to be building towards his BKB next. And that is not too surprising because Dragon Knight has the armor thanks to his Dragon Blood. The only thing he's missing is the resistance to magic, so BKB
still pushing. I mean, they know this is the thing with Io. Until Io's level 6, here we go. Here's the relocate. They're coming in. CTY taking a bit of damage. Fi actually taking a lot of damage. But Ken getting completely locked down upon entry. Good defensive disruption will keep him alive for a couple more seconds. But that's it. A couple more seconds. Fi for Ken. Not a trade you want to make a support for a Chaos Knight.
No, absolutely not. And the problem is they're still not going to be able to defend this tower once VG decide to regroup and push through. But I guess they decided to back off instead, which I find a little bit surprising because they still have the momentum. They still have the bear as a whole.
Yeah,
so
Ultimate ran out on Dragon Knight, and Chaos Knight will be up very soon. I don't know that they knew that they would necessarily easily take that fight, so I don't blame them for doing what they did.
Oh!
Ooh, Chibi might go for a no. He doesn't go for the solo ZSMJ kill. I felt like he almost had the damage, but perhaps not. He does instead just walk over here. I was gonna say, but VG running their plan pitched perfectly so far. You know that Io's relative weakness is in that early laning phase. He frequently does not want to be in the lane because Io badly needs levels early to hit level 6 in a timely fashion. So A, pressure the lane, B, pressure Io to stay in the lane. Even if it seems like you didn't win, you actually did win because you kept Io from getting that XP. And so Io hit level 6 around 11 minutes this game. That's quite late relative to when you want to hit it. Not just that, the carry, the guy Io is dragging around, Ken is only level 6 as well, and all he has is power traits. So this is
XCT.
not... Ooh... Yeah, XCT actually, no,
Oh.
the time lapse is enough, and they're going to turn this around right on Ken. Here go the worms. KS taking a lot of damage. One more Shukachi, and this would be a lot of pressure. ZSMJ chasing with the bear. The bear has his phase boots. Double gloves of haste, of course, going for that armlet, and then, ooh, KS will go down. XTT dealing all the damage in the world. Shaolin Kid coming in here, but he's immediately copping lots of harass. This Panda Bear is just not getting the entangles at all. ZSMJ not getting what he paid for here. There's what he paid for. Entangle comes through. 2 down for AFD. They pick off Silencer again, but if all you get is Silencer repeatedly, it's almost not worth it. XTT turning that completely around with that very, very cleverly timed time-lapse, and a good rotation from ZSMJ will mean the death of another AFD tower.
This could honestly go for a big pushing. They could go for a second tower with CTY's ulti up
They definitely will
on use. And it's barely on use, and there's the DD rune on top. So this tower will not last long. KS is not going to be able to solo defend this.
VG,
Like, no matter...
they're continuing to push. They know they have the level advantage, and they want to use it. They know that they're not in trouble from that relocate just yet, so they're going to push and try to get lots of advantage while they can. Pushing with a level... Ooh, nice relocate. Sorry, not nice tether, but the global silence response, and Ken just completely neutered by this. The defensive disruption will have to barely save him again. Chibi gets a kill, but unfortunately Ken's down. It looks like Shaolin Kid is down. VG mostly still up. Stun going out on Chibi. He might walk out of here with the tether, the great movement speed boost that gives him. But so far, 1 for 2, and VG still earning the favorable balance of the trade since the beginning of the game. Rave Blue, they want to get a kill on Fi here. Lots of damage getting thrown out, but it's not quite enough to kill him. And actually, Rave Blue and Chibi having to flee away from this. 2 tracks up, but they're just not finding the kills. VG, meanwhile, they do have the bear is not resummoned, it's just relocated. Rave Blue copping a bit of harassment from this Panda. 2 hits, no entangle. Shaolin Kid back in the action. Relocate gets thrown out. XTT might finally take a drop here on this Weaver. He's actually still alive, just barely. He's got 5 charges on his magic stick. Will he make it out of it? No, the spirits bring him down. An absolutely critical kill for AFD. They must kill him, and they probably need to kill his ZSMJ here too. Entangle getting thrown out. 1 last hit. Yes, the track gold will be earned. They finally pick up 2 of VG's core heroes, but what a painful process it was to get to that point.
Yeah, so, you know, GBX is doing fantastic. He's actually very well on his way to this Orchid, almost halfway done yeah. So, very, very, doing quite well considering the low kill kind of game that he's been having. 5-1-1 is still pretty high kill overall, but ultimately he hasn't spent that much time, like, farming Oblivion saves, so...
Yeah, I mean, 5-1-1, honestly, he's accounts basically for 2/3 of his team's kills. I feel like the Queen of Pain is the one thing going right with AFD.
Oh, absolutely.
What's going wrong is that so far 1 for 3 on the relocates.
Yeah, Ken not doing so hot. So
and it's just because of that lane pressure. VG knew that even if it wasn't that favorable of a lane for them, the sole presence of pressure slows down that CKIO development.
This is a little bit of a questionable build coming out from Ken. He is actually choosing to pick up a point in Phantasm and Crit before maxing out Reality Rift, so a little bit interesting.
Phantasm varies. I mean, it does... You can use it for Manta-style-esque effects in some situations.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, Reality Rift gets this cooldown down to 6 seconds if you max it out, and that's a significant amount.
Right. Fortify coming out from AFD, so they may seek to defend this tier 2 tower. GBX jumping in, he pops off the Sonic Wave. Fenrir taking a lot of damage. Fi will probably get picked off again, but again, just finding the kills on the Silencer. Finally, they pick off Fenrir as well, and now CTY's in a bit of trouble. They're going to try to chase him down. Silence up on Ken. It's a pretty long one. He's taking gobs of damage from ZSMJ's Bear, and actually gets taken down. Chaos Knight on the ground again, and 2 for 2, but losing the Chaos Knight again. This is an 0-3-4 CK.
Yeah, this is getting really bad for April Fool's Day if this game ends up going late. The problem is you are pushing into a Keeper of the Light, you are pushing into a Dragon Knight, and they both have fantastic creep clearing abilities. That said, Dragon Knight almost has his BKB, and once that happens, he will not fear fighting the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, that's the main thing. He already has Cloak, and he's going to have BKB soon. Armlet up on Lone Druid. But the fact that CTY just doesn't need to be concerned for a while about... Sorry, the fact that, yeah, CTY doesn't need to be concerned about Chibi is a huge point in VG's favor, because if they don't worry about that, they're suddenly feeling really, really good, because all they have to worry about is the Queen of Pain right now. And so consequently, if one of their major heroes can just sort of ignore her, that makes it very difficult for AFD to actually find the wins in the fights.
Yeah, and it's not like it's easy for Queen of Pain to go down on Lone Druid either. Lone Druid is so tanky with just that Dragon form, especially with max energy. That is a lot of bonus health.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the armlet was successfully transferred to the Bear. That's always fun to do, isn't it?
Every time you do it, you just feel like you're cheating a little bit.
The armlet, I don't know. I was talking about how much of a pain it is to get items onto the Bear.
Oh, it's fine.
But it's like if your Bear has 6 item slots already filled, it becomes really difficult.
Sure, but that isn't for a little bit.
I don't know. He filled it.
Pressuring the bottom a little bit, but they need another creep wave. And meanwhile, VG, I mean, moving with purpose. They still have the XP lead, not by much, and part of that is because of this pushing play. But it's enough, and the gold is enough that they think that there's no way that AFD can actually counter these pushes. And so far, they've been right. AFD have not found a favorable trade. The best they found is sort of even or a good trade after the fact. Brave Blue just tossing out another track, but again, he's basically just a track bot right now. 105, so he's done well. He has not died. But where is the ability to actually stop this massive push from VG? I don't see it just yet.
Yeah, they don't have it. The best they can do is try to pick off Fi and Fenrir, and then hope that as a result, VG choose to back off. And so far, it's been okay for them so far. But it's still been less than ideal because ultimately they do lose their 6 outer tier towers before,
every outer
April
tower
Fool's
down,
get 1.
18 minutes.
And it feels like this Wisp CK is just more like a Spectre in terms of playstyle. It's more like they can farm a lane with him, and then if they need him, they can just TP in.
Sure.
And I feel like that's
is a big part of it. VG sieging the top, 2 seconds down on CTY. The Phantasm will pop off, but he just pops the BKB, and they hardly care. Ken just actually the Bear's still hitting creeps for some reason. GBX does pick up a kill in the back, but Ken, he's locked down, entangled. CK on the ground. Who's on the Wisp now? KS is on the ground for the Wisp, and unfortunately VG, they actually buy back on Fi's Silencer. Chibi's still doing the best he can, but he doesn't have any more Sonic Wave potential. And here we go. VG, the Bear resummoned on ZSMJ, going high ground, hitting on this Rax. I think first set of Rax, there's not actually much that AFD can do about this. It's the weakness of the strategic combination. They can get kills, but they can't push or defend a push. There goes the Rax, that's melee down. VG can leave at their leisure, and in fact they will. Lots of damage getting thrown out on this Bear, but it does look like it'll live, and ZSMJ doesn't need to worry about resummoning it just yet.
Absolutely phenomenal trade it's not even a trade. They almost got it for free. That VG got. They didn't even get it for free. It's like April Fool's Day paid VG to get that tower and racks with Ken and KS's deaths, and that's really the big.
Buy and force a buyback, but if they forced a buyback on the number 5 player for the other team.
Yeah, it's ultimately like, does it really matter? Really? Like, Silencer will put out a lot of damage if he's alive for all of those kills eventually, but at this point, it looks like the game isn't going to last long enough for Vi to be a significant right-clicking presence.
Yeah, right now, most likely not. He's just doing that hard support role, and he's done a great job of it so far. I mean, Tier 2 boots already give him a bit of survivability, and he'll have that magic wand pretty soon. You see that even with the buyback, the Silencer actually has a pretty decent amount of gold. And that's a result of the fact that, 7 towers down. They've already picked off so much gold equity for the entire team. Casual Vid Booster, meanwhile, for XTT. We're going to see him build his next item pretty soon. And actually, he has 3.8k stored up. Finally, actually, sorry, I missed the kill here, but Chibi might get his first drop if he gets entangled. Will he get entangled? No, he actually gets Dragon Breath to death, and Ken's in here. But what can he do? There's no Queen of Pain. They actually can't deliver any damage. And AFD seeking to try to find the trade there, and unfortunately, not even close. XTT has joined the fray. Another pick off. No Force Staff just yet for Shaolin Kid, and unfortunately, that's a triple kill for CTY. BKB plus 3k, and we see AFD GGing.
That was, one, a fast GG, but two, that's actually really good for them. Honestly, this game was pretty much over for them. They were all out of towers, they're down to racks. This kind of cuts down a lot of CK's farming ability. And the fact that CK was so underwhelming means that it's only going to get worse as the game goes on. CK is a solidly early game, mid game carry at best, and there's not really much you can hope to do, especially because even at 22 minutes, Armwood nowhere in sight.
Right.
So, not really much in the future for April Fool's Day given this lineup.
No, I can't see AFD taking this out. That was their last-ditch effort right there, with Chibi leading the spearhead. I mean, he had a great game. 8-2-2 Queen of Pain. This is very, very good performance. He played very safe, got lots of kills. And I guess my only question, El Prez, is, was it the strategy or the execution?
I think it's mostly execution coming out of VG here, honestly. I feel like the Wisp Chaos Knight could have been more impactful, but given, one, the strategy, as we saw, VG were very 5-man almost the entire game. They started rotating people around, they started staying in strong 5-man sets with the goal of getting early game towers, and that's really the biggest weakness.
GBX is not happy.
It's funny because he's the one sticking around, that's why VG are saying, because they want to make sure the ticket says the right thing.
Not just that, I mean, join Dota, Gozo Gamers, all the databases just spoke from the API.
Yeah.
No, I think he's just not happy about the outcome of the game.
Oh, there's that too.
Left
I
after
wouldn't.
saying, fuck.
Let's see. Someone said Booyao. I don't know. It's Booyao that says I don't want. I don't know what Sha is supposed to be. Woe is I. I don't know what I Fei is supposed to be.
Well, an excellent translation job done there, no doubt
Well,
about it.
I can read the Kuima. That's
Yeah.
may I?
Right.
Question mark. That's it. I can read that. I'm awful with Chinese characters.
That's alright, dude. Don't worry about it. Alright, so, folks, that's game 1, and a very interesting, almost referendum on the role of CKIO in the Asian metagame. Now, I'm sure people will have their own interpretations of what happened in this game, but I do have to say, the disregard of Chinese news for IO, at least partially vindicated by VG here, who understood the exact way to respond. Pressure the lane, slow down the beginning of the relocates, and then push the heck out of it. And this Dragon Knight pick, paying some great dividends with CTY having a fantastic game, actually farming faster than ZSMJ, getting a lot of these tower kills, and just presenting a force that really AFD had no answer to in this game 1. So, folks, don't go away. We will be going up into game 2 in just a few seconds. VG versus AFD. Winner's bracket. VG to lead 1-0. Let's check it out.